Here I have drawn the more general form of the band brake. There is a pulley which is mounted on a pin joint, and there is a band which passes over it. The two ends of the band have different tensions in this case. One end has T1 and the other end has T2. And this is the section of the pulley over which the band passes, and it subtends an angle of theta at the center of the pulley. And there is a torque of magnitude C which is acting. In this case, we have taken a counterclockwise torque. Now what we want to find out are the different relationships between T1, T2 and C. But to find out those relationships, first we need to know what conditions this system has to satisfy. So the first condition that the system has to satisfy is equilibrium. That is, the system is not moving. So there should be a balance of forces and a balance of moments. In this case, we'll consider only the balance of moments, since the spin joint will ensure that there is a balance of forces. And two, the second condition is it should almost be slipping. That is, if we add a bit more torque, this pulley will start rotating relative to the cable. So first of all, let's take the equilibrium condition. We already know what are the conditions for a body to be in equilibrium. First, it has the sum of forces on it should be 0 and the sum of moments on it should be 0. So we're not going to consider the sum of forces since there is a pin joint over here. We can take the sum of moments about this point. I will not draw the isolation volume since everybody must be fairly familiar with it by now. So taking the sum of moments at this point, firstly, the moment caused because of T1 is T1 into R, and since this is a clockwise moment, this has a negative sign, plus the moment because of T2 is counterclockwise, so there's a positive sign, T2 into R, and finally plus C is equal to 0. So rearranging this, T1 minus T2 into R is equal to C. So what are the things that this equation tells us? The first thing that this equation tells us is T1 is greater than T2. Since tensions cannot be negative, this result has to be held valid, and that can be seen, that's the only way in which these two tensions can counteract this torque. Through this observation, what we see is the tension in the string at this point is T2, and then slowly over the period of this band, it rises till it reaches T1. But what is the variation of that rise? That we will get through the second condition. So this first condition has been satisfied. Now for that second condition, what we'll do is we'll take a small section of this cable which subtends an angle d theta, but d theta is a very small angle, and we'll cut it out using the isolation volume. So there is one cut over here which will introduce a tension. There is one cut over here which will also introduce a tension, and there's one cut over here which will introduce a normal reaction. So I will try to draw this over here. You have this section of the cable. This section subtends an angle of d theta, which is a very small angle, and this is the center line, and this is a line perpendicular to it. So let this be y, and this is x. And now let's draw the forces. Firstly, there's a normal reaction which is acting over here, so there's an upward force N. There are two tensions, so we know that the tension on this side of the cable is less. So there, over here there's a tension which is acting of magnitude T, and over here there's a slightly larger tension which will act of magnitude T plus dt. I am sure everybody can see this, that the angles that these tensions subtend are d theta by 2 each. And finally, there's a friction force, which is the centerpiece, which will be acting in this direction. Since this is the direction the pulley is pushing the cable in. Now all we need to do is we need to do a force balance on the system. we know that the y direction component of t and t plus dt in both cases is t plus dt into sine d theta by 2. So what is the y direction component? Let's sum the y direction components up. So you have n, which is in the positive direction. Then you have minus t plus dt into sine d theta by 2 minus t sine d theta by 2 is equal to 0. Now we have said that d theta by 2, like d theta, is a very small angle. Hence sine of d theta by 2 is the same as d theta by 2. So we can cut the sine out. And this gives us that n is equal to t d theta plus dt d theta by 2. Now this product of two very small numbers is much smaller compared to this value and this value. So this product can be ignored. So this is our first equation, that n is equal to t d theta. The next equation that we get is through the balancing of the horizontal forces. Now friction comes in the horizontal force, and so this gives us the forces acting towards the right are t plus dt. So t plus dt cos d theta by 2 is equal to t cos d theta by 2 plus f. Now in this equation we know that d theta by 2 is very close to 0. So cos of this angle is very close to 1. So we can just eliminate these, and rearranging this, what we can find out is dt is equal to f, which we can see, since the net increase in tension on this direction is dt, it has to be balanced by a friction force which is equal to dt. So this is equation number 2. And finally we use the fact that this is almost slipping, which means there is critical friction, which means the friction force is equal to mu into n, static into n. So once we apply that, n is given by t d theta and f is given by dt. So we get dt is equal to mu static t d theta. This is the differential equation which we have. So this will give us dt by t is equal to mu s d theta. And this equation has to be integrated. And the limits of this integration, since we are actually traveling from here to here, so tension starts from T2 and goes till T1, and theta starts from 0 and goes to theta. So this will be from T2 to T1, and this will be from 0 to theta. Now this is just a matter of simple application of integrals. Logarithm of T1 by T2 is equal to mu s theta, which gives T1 by T2 is equal to e to power mu s theta. So let's write the two equations that we have derived from the two conditions that we have put. The first equation is that T1 minus T2 into R is equal to C, and the second equation, which comes from the condition that this system should be on the verge of slipping, is T1 by T2 is equal to e to power mu theta. Now if we are given C, then we can find out the value of T1 and T2 such that the system is in equilibrium and the system is on the verge of slipping. Now using these two equations that we have derived, we will solve the question that was originally introduced. Just go over these derivations again and make sure that you are absolutely confident with them.